BGHSS goals. Oh, the word goals. The word goals. You'll be the first person to hashtag it. BGHSS goals. Sorry, Natalie.
No, go for it.
SS goals. Sorry.
Okay, hi, I'm Natalie. If you can't hear me, yell at me because I mumble. Get it from my husband. Love you, Ben. So I'm here to talk about forming relationships, and not so much the form part of it, but how important relationships are for you. So the best way I thought to start this is to actually tell you about mine and Nikki's relationship. So 3 years ago, about a little more, I messaged Nikki and I said, okay, let me take a step back in line. So we started working at American Eagle together when we were 16. And I loved her because she was me. Like, I cuss, but we were both kind of BITCHs. And, like, we told it how it was. And we're just totally open and honest with people. When you work in retail, I mean, you kind of have to be like that because if not, everything just goes haywire. But so we started working together. And we had a great time for, like, 4 years at American Eagle. And we both went to college then. We kind of grew apart at that time. But then I was walking down the Home and Garden show. And here comes Nikki, pushing a stroller with 2 babies. And I'm like, where did that come from? Don't even know who you are anymore. So we reconnected, needless to say. So I started following her on Facebook, and we started talking a little bit, and she started posting all this crazy stuff about Beachbody. And at that time, I had hit my highest weight of 165 pounds. And my husband and I decided to go on a trip to Jamaica in February when no one is bikini ready. So I messaged Nikki and I said, hey, I need to start something. Can you help me? You know, I'm not buying anything from you. I have a burned copy of P90X that my husband got. I'm just going to do this. So for 4 days, I did it. And Nikki added me to a challenge group. And I proceeded to tell her to shove her challenge group because it was too much work for me to write down my goals on a piece of paper. So, after I did a really strong reality check, that was in like September. November 1st, I messaged her again and I said, I seriously need to do something. We're 3 months out from this trip and I'm now 175 pounds. So, I started doing Shakeology and P90X, and I don't know if you've ever done P90X, but I think it's harder than insanity. I did the entire program over the holidays from November 1st until February 1st, and I lost 45 pounds. So I was bikini ready, and you can see my bikini posts on Facebook, but I was totally bikini ready, and I loved it. And at that time, she also pulled me into going to this fit club in Cranberry in a room that was smaller than this with her and Melanie and Katie. And we went every week, and I did Insanity, and I hate Insanity. I'm sorry, Shanti. But I did Insanity. I did whatever they told me to do that week. And my best friend came with me, Stephanie, and I started to pull her into it a little bit. And in February, Nikki and Katie said to me, you got a coach. Like, why are you not a coach yet? I said, I do not want to do this. I don't have time. I don't want to be bothered with it. I can't even be in a challenge group the right way because I don't want to do it. So they suckered me into being a coach. Yeah. So February I joined of that year, right after we came back from the beach, and I lost more weight with Brazil butt lift, and I started Turbo Fire, and I fell in love with it. And I found I was pregnant 3 weeks into it. After a 3 a.m. phone call with Nikki crying because I couldn't lose any more weight, I found out the next day I was pregnant. And I could not drink Shakeology because of issues with my digestive system while I was pregnant, so I couldn't drink it. So I started to go active, inactive. I was Emerald because I signed up my cousin and one of my best friends at that time. Not that one. She didn't join me yet. So I was Emerald. So I was making these $14 checks every week, and I didn't even really know how because I hadn't even gotten into coaching, really. But I was making these $14 checks every week while I was pregnant and not doing anything. So I was like, I don't know how this is happening, but I'm still making money. So I kind of kept it and just let it go. I didn't really say anything about it. And the whole time, Nikki was still talking to me. Even though I wasn't doing anything, she was still talking to me about pregnancy, about how I felt, about my job, just about anything. We just talked about having kids, whatever. So then I went through labor and delivery, and it was a horrible, horrible thing for me. And I took a year to have a self-pity party, which it's a story for another day, but it was a pretty bad one. But Nikki was still there. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry. But she was still there through it all. And on January 1st of last year, I told her that I was ready to change my life. I went diamond in 33 days. I got my husband a diamond 30 days after that. So I was a 1-star. And I started making money, and I was like, this is awesome. And my best friend finally joined me after a year and a half of begging her. And then my stinking sister joined me after her breastfeeding and losing all this weight and me losing nothing while breastfeeding. And she was eating donuts on the couch while I was working my ass off, doing turbo fire. And she would not even look at Shakeology. So anyways, she ended up joining and saying, can I borrow your Turbo Fire DVDs? And I was like, no, you need to buy them off of me. So I gave them to her for Christmas. So she started doing it and loved it, and now she's a rock star on my husband's team. He'll tell you all about it. Needless to say. So needless to say, throughout this whole process, Nikki was there. She was there. This is a secret that I didn't even realize until later, and I found out how this whole business worked, but I was going to quit in December, right before, December of last year. I was going to quit, and Nikki messaged me and said, hey, can you do me a favor and order a box of Shakeology? And I said, yeah, but I couldn't pay for it. So she did, to help me. So I didn't realize it at the time, but she wanted to keep me in the game. And then that happened in January. So now, Nikki is one of my best friends. Her family is my family. And I could never imagine losing her. And that's what I'm going to tell you is, when you coach, you need to find people, and people need to find you that you would be lifelong friends with. I don't want you to just have people on your team because you want to have them on your team. That's great, you can grow, but you're never, ever going to succeed that way. If you put on a fake personality, you lie to people, you have to keep that up forever. That's exhausting. What you see is what you get from me. I cuss. You can ask my team, I'm crazy, I'm inappropriate, it's just me, and that's what you get. And that is what Nikki accepted from me, and she rolled with it. She learned how I learned. I don't do anything that she tells me to do most of the time. Until she tells me the 10th time. But she learned that. So that's why I succeeded, because she built that bridge with me. So maybe someone's not doing the activity tracker. Who cares? If you can get them to do something else, that's what you need to do. You need to figure out how they're going to make their business work. I fit Beachbody into my life. And she asked me to touch on this too. This isn't really about relationships, but it's about making Beachbody be a part of your life. You don't have to fit Beachbody. Just because I don't even know who it was yesterday, said on the Brady Bots, I think, said, you have to start a free eating challenge group. Do you know how many free eating challenge groups I got invited to last night? 95. I'm not joining them, I'm sorry. But you don't need to do that just because she said to do it. You can do your own thing. Go and create something for new moms if you want to do a free challenge group. Just because a top coach says to do something doesn't mean you have to do it. You need to do what fits your market. And if people see you doing otherwise, they're going to be like, this girl's trying to make money. I wouldn't trust her with cleaning at all. So that's what you need to see when you make a relationship with somebody. People want to see you. They don't want to see this perfect person. I just sit back there. I could tell you I eat lettuce and carrots all day, but if you saw me out last night, you would know that was a lie. Okay? So if you want people to think you eat lettuce and carrots all day, you better eat it every time you go out, just in case someone sees you doing it. I did have lettuce, that's all it is.
Pickles too.
I know. So my team did ask me questions to answer today, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So the one thing I want you to ask yourself, even when you're looking at coaches on your team that you're bringing on, and whenever your people are coming to you, you should not be offended if someone doesn't choose you as a coach. It sucks. I know that. But Do you really want someone that didn't connect with you on your team? I don't. I want to pick a coach who I would go out with. I would say, hey, Nick, do you want to go out Saturday night? Unequivocally, yes. I want to go out with her. Like, and then there's the question of, if Beachbody disappeared tomorrow, would you still be friends with that person? I would be. You should be able to rely on someone in that way when they're that big of a part of your life. I mean, this could turn into a $1 million business. You don't want someone above you that you think is going to snake you when you turn around. You don't want someone above you who you think is going to flake out on you in hard times when you're pushing for elite, when you're pushing for 10-star, whatever that comes to. And that starts from the very beginning when you grow that relationship. So when you're talking to people, learn about them. I mean, I just found something out about one of my coaches last week that blew my stinking mind. She wasn't ready to tell me. Like Danny said, she wasn't ready to tell me. I knew there was a reason behind what she was doing. I didn't know it until recently, and now that I know it, I freaking want her to succeed more than any person I've ever seen in my life. So once you learn those things, that's going to help you be a better coach to those people, and those people will be better coaches themselves. So that's it. That's one of the points that I wanted to make. I said one of my things was, well, whenever you say, do you want to go out with that person, you should be able to go out with that person and not be afraid if you're going to be judged. Like, if I ask you to go out tomorrow, I'm like, Cody, want to go grab a beer? And she's like, I drink water. Or, like, judges me the whole time we're out if I order wings. That's not the kind of person you want to sit down with. Like, you want to break bread with these people. These are your team. This is your business. You can't just have people that you don't want to talk to every day on your team. You have to love these people. And, like Nikki, I mean, I thank her so much because she created this team, you guys. Like, this is one of the most real Beachbody trainings I have ever been a part of. This is not a cookie cutter, here's your list of things I want you to do, training. This is a real life training. You're seeing the top coaches on Nikki's team show you their best things about them. So you are in a real training. You're with a real team right now. You're not with someone who's just trying to make you a number or make money off of you. She actually cares about every single person in this room, which is different about this team. That is an awesome thing to know. And that's how you need to make your team feel as well. They are awesome. Your team is, I mean, my team is mind-blowing. I love them. I would talk to them all the time. Cody's team, I love Cody's coaches just like I love mine. Like, Christina's one of my best friends now. Brittany, like Morgan, you guys are like, I talk to you guys more than I talk to my family sometimes. Like, that's who you're going to talk to. It's not my sister. She talks to me a lot. Another thing I want to tell you about forming relationships, and we have had this conversation as sisters because my mom is constantly telling us to put down our phones. Put them down. When you're with your family, when you're with your other coaches, put your phone down. No one wants to see you like this constantly. I don't care if you're just sitting at someone's house bullcrapping. Put your phone down. Listen to what that person's saying. Because if you're not listening to them, why should they listen to you? Why should they care about you? The two things that I think are the main things in building relationships is communication and trust. And you can think about any relationship you want to, with your parents, with your husband, with your best friend, with your family, whatever. It's communication and trust. If you don't trust the person you're working with to lead you in the right direction, to care about your decisions, what kind of relationship is that? It's not. And I feel bad for people who don't have uplines because, I mean, I depend on Nikki every day to just keep my mind straight. Not even for business sometimes, but like just to say, dude, I'm having an awful day today. I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, you need to be able to say that to your upline. It's not always about business. You don't need, half of my team right now, I don't talk to them about business when I talk to them. We talk about life because you need to know what's happening in their lives to help them reach their fullest ability. So I talked about balance, right? On your page, so balance, I talked about balance, about fitting Beachbody into your life. You don't just want your page to be Beachbody. I unfollow most coaches because I get annoyed with you, honestly. And if I was someone else looking for things, yeah, I'd follow you.
comment on myself. Oh, I'm gonna tag you.
No, but okay, so there are people who, I'll use Ashley as an example. I didn't even know who Ashley was. But all of a sudden I saw this girl posting things and I was like, she's awesome. She's just posting selfies and her skin is glowing all the time. How does that girl do that? Like, those are the people I want to follow. I don't want to follow you if you just constantly push challenge packs at me or sales or whatever. I want to see your life. I want to see your family. I want to see what you do during the day. If you go to my page, sometimes I feel like I don't post enough about Beachbody, but if you really read my post, there's something in there to edge you towards Beachbody. And that's where I want the conversation to start. My team actually asked, how do you know when to change the relationship from forming and speaking about their lives into Beachbody? The conversation kind of just goes that way, and if it doesn't, it might not be meant to do that. I would throw out a subtle invite maybe, talk about what you're doing in the space of while you're talking about what they're doing. Oh my gosh, my Beachbody business is just great right now. I'm feeling really good even though I'm pregnant. I'm doing this workout. That right there is a forming statement. You're telling them what you want to do, and you're telling them what you are doing, and then you can say, I would love to have you with me. I saw that you just had a baby or whatever. I think it would be great to have another mom support me. That's a subtle into it. If they say no, forget it. Keep talking to them, though. Don't just delete the convo. Keep talking to them. Don't write them off your list. Another question was, how do I keep track of the relationships that I start? Because you are going to start a lot before you actually get to the end result. Like for me with Nikki, it took me 3 years to actually start working the business. If she would have given up on me, I would have been gone. So to keep track, I am old school. Well, not really, but compared to some people. I just keep a list on my notes in my phone, and I keep a list of who I talked to, who I presented a question to, who said yes, who said no, and then I make a category of did I ask them to coach or did I ask them for a challenge group? And then I also keep a list of everyone that joined a challenge group and if I presented the coaching opportunity to them. So then, if they need to change note pages, it's really easy for me. I delete them from one and add them to another. Super easy. It's always with me because I know a lot of busy people, but I'm one of the busier people that you know. I promise you. I promise. I have a full-time job. I wake up at 4:15 in the morning. I work till 3:30. I get an hour lunch break some days. I love my job. Nikki will tell you, I love it. I work in an athletic department in a high school. I just adore it. So I work games at night. I do events at night. So if there's a football game, basketball game, I'm there. I have a 2-year-old. I have a baby on the way. I coach softball there. I do Beachbody. I promise you, I can relate to busy. But that's not an excuse for me because these things make it easy to keep going. If you're at a red light, answer someone.
Red light be horrifying.
Red light, I said. Red light. During your lunch break, maybe do something that takes a little longer. You saw the list last night of what to do, how that girl grew her business with a full-time job. It is possible, I promise. I exceeded my income at my full-time job with Beachbody this year. Woo! I never thought that would happen, ever. It was just for extra money for me. That's all it was. And like Nikki knows, I have goals, and she thinks to ask me when my goals are changing, but she never pushes me to change those goals. She's never asked me to quit my job. She's never told me that should be a goal, ever. She knows how I drive, and she pushes every button she can to get me there without me feeling like she's pushing me. So that's what you need to find in people. You need to find a team that you just love and you want to be a part of and you can be yourself with. Like, we were talking about a video back there that I posted a while ago. So I was doing Turbo Fire again before I got pregnant. I swear to God, do Turbo Fire and you get knocked up. So I always take videos. I always take videos of me doing Turbo Fire because people think that they can't do the program. So I try to show them what I mess up or whatever and show them cadences and all that. So the one time I was doing it and my son was playing with trucks on the floor and I thought they were gone and I stepped on a truck, and I was videoing at the time. So it's a pretty funny video. I say the F word, so if you're going to be offended, don't watch it. But it's a pretty funny video. But I posted that, and I got so much of a response from that. Even if it wasn't people telling me that they wanted to do the Turbo Fire video, they started talking to me. And they started talking about kids and trucks. And, I mean, even if they just talked about cussing, it doesn't matter. You find common ground with people and work with that common ground. And that's what building those relationships does. There's no right answer to when you should start another conversation. It's up to you how you feel the conversation's going, and not to push the person too much, because if you push them, you feel salesy. So all I can tell you is trust and communication. And if you don't feel that with somebody, I wouldn't go that route, because they're probably going to end up leaving you anyways. So just remember those two things. Remember to be sincere, like Danny said. Always speak from your heart. Speak truthfully. And please do not try to be someone that you're not. Do not be a fake person. Don't change yourself to try to be like one of the top coaches that you think will make your life change. Just be you. Have red hair or black hair. You don't have to be bleach blonde to succeed. I swear it feels like it, but you don't have to. But okay.